Ahoy me mateys and all that jazz. I'm not going to go through that all the way through the video, so just lap it up now and we'll move on. Jack Sparrow, Pieces of 8, JV Jones's Locker. Subscribe to the channel. And whilst that last one wasn't exactly anything to do with pirates, it would be nice for you to do it anyway. And so Pirates are Jolly Roger, and this one's a bit of a weird one.
Weird one you say, Caden? How?
Well, let me tell you, my really high-pitched friend. Basically, Jolly Roger is sort of an open world adventure game and survival game, but it also unfortunately feels very linear. And a lot of the time you get funneled into where you have to go and kind of like don't really have any choice, otherwise nothing really will happen. Whilst playing the game, there is kind of no story whatsoever apart from a little kind of bit at the end, and there are like trickles here and there. Considering this was meant to be an epic pirate adventure, I would have appreciated a little bit more story and also some cutscenes just to, you know, add some spice to the game and to also give you that sense of a grand cinematic adventure.
Yeah, but the controls were decent, weren't they?
Again, as a whole, the controls were quite decent and quite intuitive. You could run, walk, climb up vines, climb down vines, climb up ladders, and all sorts of different things. Opening up chests can sometimes feel a bit of a pain in the arse. And even the weapons I felt were quite decent to use, like your gun, whatever they're called, and things like axes and swords, and you even got like a lantern that, well, lit your way, but also if you held onto the trigger, you can do this like pulse thing that destroyed many creatures that dared to come your way. And all this was handled quite well, up until you have to go swimming. Now, I felt this was the worst part of the game, the swimming part. I just couldn't get the handle of how to actually swim properly, and this was a bit of a problem considering the whole section was taken up doing this. I did quite like the fact that you have to go from air bubble to air bubble in order to breathe, but it just felt really awkward to do. Luckily enough, there's more to this game than just the swimming part. And as you would expect, the beginning of the game is kind of like the tutorial area, which does a pretty good job of doing it. And kind of helping you along the way is the parrot, which, yeah, it's either helping you, hindering you, or just not saying anything. And boy is it obnoxious, but don't try and kill it because that's what I did, and yeah, you had to restart the level. There are some mini games that you can play, like an axe throwing game and a climbing game. And paying for the privilege of actually playing these mini games, you have to spend your hard earned or found loot that you generally gather playing the game. And that is the only use for this loot. Which is a shame, because I would have loved a little shop or something. I mean, almost like Resident Evil, a little guy that's like around that sells your shit. I bet they wish they put that in now.
At least does it look good?
Yes, my friend, it really does look stunning. In fact, because it's on PC, I think if this was ported over to the MetaQuest headsets, because I would love to actually play that natively just to see and to compare the differences. But I have to say, especially on the beach levels and some of the lagoon bits, I stopped and was just staring in almost awe of what I was seeing. It looked that good. Oh, and you will encounter these certain moonflowers that are like blue. I would advise keeping as many as you can, just a little hint. Sound-wise, again, it was pretty decent, although the parrot kind of repeated a lot of the stuff and some of it was like you just wanted to punch it. And you did have like a pirate voice, but it just a few lines here and there, basically. But all in all, it was a bit creepy in places. It did have a lot of decent atmospheric feel to the music and the sound, and all in all, I wasn't really disappointed with it. I think the real big disappointment was I felt like they could have done a bit more. Like, it wasn't quite 100% finished. They kind of like got it out but didn't really put any cutscenes in, didn't really put a story in, and I just had that feeling that it could have been so much more better. Well, maybe you should tell them the score then. Okay then, I will. So, Pirates Jolly Roger is a decent game, but it's just lacking a few things. It does so many things right, but a few things a little bit dodgy. It is, however, hard to imagine that this is the state that they wanted to release the game. I mean, by no means is it broken or anything. It works fine, and it does everything quite well. And I really do hope that they continuously update this game and bring more to it. But as it stands right now, I can only give it I am between a high 6 or a very low 7, so I'm going to give it a low 7 because I think it is a decent game and I had fun playing it. So go ahead and subscribe and have yourself a Jolly Roger day. See ya!